All right. So how was we're recording this on a weekend, two days after a big Friday night. How was that Helena game Friday night? Is that about what you expected?
Yeah, I mean, going into it, we knew it was going to be a dogfight. It's like playing on the road in the SEC. So we kind of Coach V had that instilled in us all week. We knew we were walking into a hornet's nest. That's what he called it. But yeah, man, I mean, they were well coached. Everything that we saw on film, we knew they were going to be a really good football team. And they were. They worked us, and it came right down to it, but. Anytime you play on the road against a team like that, new region, haven't played against them before. We were definitely expecting to, be in a dogfight. So, but yeah, man, I just think good teams find a way to win. And we were able to do that on Friday.
Yeah. Was the rain like for you as a quarterback? I mean, you touch the ball every play unless there's some sort of direct snap thing. Was the rain an issue for you at all, whether it be just taking it out of shotgun, certainly throwing it or handing it off? Is it any kind of issue for you?
I wouldn't call it an issue, more of a factor. I mean, it definitely plays a different factor. Just knowing that it's pouring. It was kind of weird because it would pour on us and then it would stop, and then it was
Yeah.
just it was like it was peeing on us. That's what V was
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
And so you just kind of had to change your mindset a little bit. But we they did a good job switching balls. We had a plan. We waxed them a little bit before the game, so it played a little bit of a factor. But we were still able to mix the run with the pass pretty good. So I was pretty happy about it.
Yeah. What was that experience like that first time playing at Helena? That's a different kind of place up there on that hill, and the atmosphere there is pretty good.
Yeah, no, I mean it was a great environment. Funny story, we actually played there when I was in fourth or fifth grade, maybe. In the
Okay.
championship game, we played Hoover, and it didn't go so well. So I was looking forward to getting back on that field, and proving what I can do. But yeah, so I'd actually played on that field before. It was a while
Okay.
back, like I said. But you're
Yeah.
right. I mean, it's up on a hill. It's really a very unique field. And
Yeah.
Helena brings it. Their student section. I mean, that was honestly one of the louder environments that I've
Yeah.
played in my high school career. So, just speaks volumes of what they have going on over there. And those boys came to play. They played really hard, and they gave us a run for our money for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. So what's so far? I mean, we're only a few games in. This will come out probably. Let me check. This. I don't know. This might. I know this is going to come out after the Benjamin Russell game. Maybe after James Clemens. I'm not quite sure yet. But so far, just 3 games in, because y'all had that kind of awkward week 3 bye that's kind of unique. But what's gone well for y'all so far?
Yeah, I think just sticking to what we're good at. Just 1-0 mindset every week has been big for us, and just I feel like this team's different this year. We really expect to win every game we play, and we have that championship mindset. And it really speaks volumes to what Coach V has been able to do for us and this coaching staff. And I think the biggest difference this year, to answer your question, is just the community. Man, it feels like they're so involved. And you can really feel it when you walk through the halls,
Yeah,
Monday through Friday. And anytime you have a community behind you like that, it makes my job and the players' job a little easier. So just happy to have
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's awesome. No, that's really important. What has a guy like Corey Barber? I know he used to be, he was a Spain Park kid, then went to Clay, and then I saw him. I mean, I saw him in a couple games, but when I really saw him was that playoff game last year up at Muscle Shoals. Mbakwe threw like 5 touchdowns that game, and I think the touchdown Corey had, he high pointed a ball, twisted in the air, and then came down with it, and then had to break free about 10 yards away from like 2 defenders to get in the end zone. And he's a sophomore at the time, and it was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You've been hearing about this kid and raw athletic ability and all those things. And then you really saw it on the field. What is his addition meant, and what do you kind of see out of him so far this year?
Yeah, man, kid's a baller. Straight up, these coaches better start
Yeah.
calling his phone, and I know they will after this season. But Just such a blessing to have a guy like that. Have a guy like that that can win matchups for me. It's a mismatch on the field. And really our whole offense. Credit to all the guys I have around me. You got those two in the backfield. CJ and Kari that are mismatches as well. So I really think have a good offense. You got to have players everywhere. So that addition Corey Barber's bringing to this team, brought to this team, has been huge for us.
Yeah, and I mean, just 3 games in, the obvious game that comes to mind that he was huge in, Hoover, y'all beating them 39-37. What was that game like for you guys? Just being able to go into the Met and come away with just kind of to this point, what's been kind of the game of the year.
Yeah, like you said, man, it's the record I think for Hoover is something crazy, 20-2, or I guess 20-3 now, or
Yeah,
something like that. I don't know the numbers on it, but
yeah,
it speaks so much to what we're able to do as a community, and that game really means a lot to a lot of people in the whole Hoover community. Just because I think players are so close. We live close. We grow
mm,
up playing together. In flag football leagues, or whether that's rec basketball, or baseball, or whatever it
yeah,
is. You grow up with these kids your whole life, so I think that plays a big part of it. And then just kind of just like the little brother stuff, that I think has kind of weighed on us, for a long time over the years. We've kind of always heard that. So, just to kind of just feel like you take that back, and kind of just let them know, little brother grows up at some point, so
yeah,
but yeah, man, just so good to get that win at the Met like that. And credit to Hoover and what they're able to
yeah,
do. I mean, obviously historic program. They do a really good job over there. Always got good athletes. And they put together a great game plan for us, and definitely made it tough for us. But yeah, just great to be able to win that, and just feel like you kind of take the city back.
yeah, yeah. I remember you saying that post game. That was a good line for sure.
No doubt.
Have you mentioned kind of growing up, like especially Spain Park and Hoover both being Hoover City schools, growing up against some of those guys. Like, have you always been a quarterback? Like, has that always been the plan, or did you grow up playing another position, or what?
Yeah, so I played flag football, growing up.
Yeah,
Baseball was always my first sport, so that I'm glad I kind of played baseball because growing up, they talk about the arm angles and stuff like that.
yeah,
I definitely feel like that's helped me on the football field. But yeah, I played flag football growing up, and then fourth grade was my first year at tackle. My mom was always worried about how moms are about getting hit and stuff.
yeah,
So fourth grade, she broke and she let me play. And we had a really great group of guys. We were very dominant growing up, fourth through sixth grade. I think
yeah.
we maybe lost 2 or 3 games like in those 3 or 4 years. I mean, we
Wow.
were super dominant. We won almost every game we played. But yeah, to answer your question, man, I played receiver actually my whole life, and running
Okay.
back growing up, like in the flag football days. And then in fourth grade, I played a lot of defense. I played like some linebacker and some safety, and I did play quarterback. So my first year at tackle, I kind of split reps with another kid, and then I really fell in love with the position. And it's pretty funny. You can still go on like Huddle. I've got a Brock Bradley account that'll say JYSFL, and I've got all my highlights on there. So it's cool for me to go
Whoa.
back and see that fourth, fifth, sixth grade playing with such a great group of guys and such a great coaching staff, and to be able to win so many games. It's really cool to look back and see how this has all evolved, and just how my games evolved over the years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I played receiver growing up, and then kind of was molded into like a quarterback athlete type of player. And then I
Yeah.
really think when I got to high school and maybe late middle school, eighth grade, I really started to hone in on just being a good quarterback, decision making, calculated
Yeah.
decisions, and stuff like that. So really over the past 2 to 3 years, I've kind of tailored my game to being strictly a quarterback, you can say.
Yeah. What made you fall in love with that position?
Just the control you have. A lot of people say that, but I truly feel it. being in that, it's just such a great feel. I think it's my passion, and just feeling like you're leading guys, and being the guy that if someone's not lined up right or can't get a formation right or something like that, being the calm in the storm, as Coach V would say. That's really the coolest part for me. Just being that leader on the field, kind of that player coach.
Yeah. What quarterbacks did you look up to growing up? Like, did you model after guys or did you study guys? Who were some of them?
Yeah, I'll name a few. I mean, I always say this. I feel like I play a lot like Baker Mayfield. So just
Okay.
what he was able to do, similar structure, play style. I like his energy and kind of how he plays. So I remember watching him growing up, and then I really like watching Mahomes too. I watch him a lot now, just the arm angle stuff and what he's able to do has really changed the way I've thought about the position. So those two guys, and then I really look up to Nick Mullins a lot.
Yeah.
Spain Park legend, as I would
Yeah.
say. But just I've gotten to know him, got to know guys like that, Bo Nix, guys that I train with, with the same training group at QB Country. Just getting to learn from those guys, and I've actually been able to sit down and watch film from with Nick at his house. So we've developed a really cool relationship, and just
Yeah.
to see how professional those guys are about their job, it really influences me a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember covering trying to think. I think I covered one Spain Park game when Nick was there, and it didn't. This is when Chip Lindsey was still the head coach too.
Yeah,
So,
old
and
Chip.
yeah, and it did not go Spain Park's way. It was
Yeah,
crazy. It was against Pelham, and I remember this vividly because Pelham back then had a really good just like ground and pound game, and
yeah,
with Nick, they're throwing the ball all over the field, and Pelham said we're going to run the ball and good luck stopping it, and Spain Park couldn't stop it, and that game was probably to this day the quickest game I've ever covered because the clock just never stopped. There were no stoppages. It was a blowout. I think it was like 42-17 or something,
oh wow.
and like at Spain Park, and they just couldn't stop Pelham's run. I had my game story done by like 9:45 that night. Usually 9:45, I might still be out on the field talking to you guys,
Yeah,
and so that was crazy. But yeah, it's been cool, especially Nick, seeing him these last few years. I know he's bounced around to team. I wish he'd really get his shot. As a true QB1, because I mean, yeah, there's some interceptions at times, but like I mean, I don't know. I think he's a spark plug and a really good quarterback.
yeah. No, he's a great guy to look up to, like I just mentioned, and his just to see what he's done, in college and setting all those records at Southern Miss.
Yeah,
It's really cool to kind of have that guy, up in my corner, trying to chase, and break all his records. So
yeah, gives you something to shoot for.
no doubt.
So what led you? Because I mean, you're just in your junior season right now.
Yep.
What led you to commit to Clemson and do it when you did it?
Yeah. Just got my first offer in eighth grade. So hold on. I might have lost you. Yeah, my
There
recruiting
you
process started fairly early. Got my first offer in eighth grade, Troy University. Shout out to Joe Craddock.
go.
That was pretty cool. So to be able to get my process started early and see schools as an eighth grader, as a ninth grader.
Yeah,
I've camped at Clemson pretty much my whole life. So they've got to see me since I was a sixth, seventh grader, and I've camped there every year since. So, I think that's what led me to, be able to make that decision so early.
yeah,
The fact that I'd known so much about the program and the coaching staff and Coach Sweeney and what they're all about, and the location of the school, the academics, it really felt like I'd seen all of it. So when those guys came in, I knew that was probably going to be the spot for me. And then, just some conversations that I had with Coach Sweeney over the phone and Coach Riley really just led me to making that decision ultimately.
yeah. That's like, is it their success recruiting here? I mean, everybody knows Dabo from Pelham. Played at Alabama, all those connections. Is it as simple as that as to why their recruiting is successful here? Christopher Fazina from Briarwood's the backup QB now. Peter Woods from Thompson, other guys, Turner from Vestavia, um, all these guys. Is it as simple as he has a connection to Alabama, or is it something that you think just really on an individual level draws you guys to a place like Clemson?
Yeah. I really think it just speaks volumes to, there's good football here in Alabama. There's really good football in Birmingham. I saw a stat this morning, I think, and it said there's 10 active NFL players that are from Birmingham, and that was one of the top 10 cities in the country. So, I think it really speaks volumes to just the type of players that come out of here. And I think there's a little part of it, Dabo obviously went to Pelham and keeps an eye on the area and stuff like that. But I think more importantly, there's just good athletes here. There's good football here, and guys know how to play. So I think he looks at that, and I think that's what draws him to recruit in this area.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, let's talk about your head coach for just a second. What is Coach Vakakis like? What's he like in the weight room? Because it seems like that's where y'all spend most of your time.
Yeah, no, the weight room's a big part of him for sure. But I just can't say enough about him. He's pushed me in so many different ways. We don't always get along all the time,
Yeah,
but from the time that I met him in seventh, eighth grade when he came in, I set up a meeting with him actually. When he had first came in and got the job, and I kind of came in and he'll say this all the time. He goes, man, in my 20 however 20 25 years of coaching, he says I've never had a kid interview me ever. So, I sat him down and I just, wanted to learn more about him. I'd heard great things, but just wanted to, sit down with him and, kind of plan out and, let him know, what my intentions and goals were, here at Spain Park. And, I told him from the jump, I want to change this place. I know you want to change this place, but I want to help you do that. So it's been really cool, over the years, just, working with him. Like I just said, he's pushed me in so many different ways, on and off the field, not only as a player, and with decision making, but, as a leader. And, he's constantly in my ear. And, we have a great relationship. And I'm just so lucky to have that guy, on my side.
yeah, that's a really mature thing. I've never heard of a. I mean, you might hear of a junior or a senior calling a meeting with a coach or something like that, a one-on-one, need to see you, need to talk some things out. But being that young, I mean, that probably spoke a lot to him about like, okay, I've got a kid who's going to be, the talent's there and hopefully that talent keeps building, but he's
Yeah.
mature already. That's as a coach, I bet that's a big win for him.
No doubt. Yeah. And I was, funny thing, I was at the middle school. So I had to walk down the hill to
Get a
go meet with
good
him. But yeah, man, it's been such a blessing working with him. And just to, have all that planned out in that meeting and walk out of that door with a plan and then you just feeling like, so far we've executed that plan and we've it really feels like we're changing this place, and we're not done yet. So just really cool, such a blessing to work with that guy and the rest of our coaching staff as well. He does a great job holding me accountable, the team accountable, and the coaching staff accountable. And I'd ride with our guys over anyone in the state. I feel like we have a standard at Spain Park now, and Coach V set that, and it truly makes us great every day.
Yeah. You mentioned the rest of the coaching staff. Is TJ Simmons on staff?
Yeah, there were some things that happened with paperwork, but I think he's going to be back in the next week or so. But
Okay.
him and Coach Barry have been a great addition as well.
Yeah, I
Having young
know.
guys like that have
Yeah.
played, the position and stuff like that at a high level. That guy. I don't know if you know much about him. You probably covered him actually, but
I know TJ really well.
yeah, he signed with Alabama out of high school and then transferred to West Virginia. Had a great 2 or 3 years over there. I think he played with maybe Geno Smith or Will Greer, one of those guys over there. So
Yeah.
don't remember
I think
what year it was, but I know he
yeah, I
played with
think
some talent up there.
yeah, I can't remember about Gino. Will Greer sounds right.
That might sound, yeah.
I can't remember for sure, but yeah, I covered TJ and Brandon pretty religiously when they were at Clay Chalkville on those teams, and I mean Nico Collins on the team, and
Yeah.
they were just absolutely loaded.
Oh,
But
we're
we
loaded.
used to
Yeah.
do back then. We would do a. It was in the playoffs. I think Clay Chalkville was playing Florence, and this is either I think this was the semis. I can't remember if it was the semis or the quarters, but they were hosting them, and it was freezing, like legitimately. Like Coach Mills that was there, Coach Hood that's now at Leeds, they'll say, "Oh, it wasn't that cold." Well, I was freezing, and I know a lot of people there were freezing, and so we did a post game show. We decided like we were doing a post game show. We had like a little area to set. We streamed it live, and we brought TJ on after the game, and he sat in the chair beside me. And I thought I was going to have to hold him still because after playing, he's been running, and y'all know, you get
He was
into
shivering.
November football. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, he was about to fall out of the chair. He was shivering so bad that he just sat there and he's holding the microphone and he's just like this. And I was like, see, he's going through it too, and he just played. So
Yeah.
I like to remind TJ about that
I'll
post
have to
game
give him crap for that. I'll have to give him
post
crap for that tomorrow at workouts.
he wasn't so tough that night, at least after the game.
Yeah,
But hey, they
no
got the
doubt.
ring. They got the ring, so that's all that matters.
They did. Yeah. Trust me, they talk about it all the time. They've got theirs. Where's ours? So, I just tell them we're working on it.
Hey, another thing to shoot for, right?
100%. Yes, sir.
What's the I mean, I know the cliche question is, goals the rest of the way, but I mean, you want to, 1-0 every week. You want to win region. You ultimately want to win state. I get it. Everybody would say that. Everybody wants that.
Right.
How do you achieve that? What are the things that y'all have to focus on to get to where you want to go?
Man, nothing special. Doing what we've done since
Yeah.
the summer started. And truly what I mentioned earlier, the 1-0 mindset. Understanding that and executing that is going to be big for us. And I'll tell you, this team's got what it takes. I truly feel that. I truly believe that. I've truly seen that this whole summer. It feels like we've got the ingredients to do it, and now it's about doing it. So every week, just taking it 1 week at a time. Really honing in and focusing our opponent and our game plan. I know our coaching staff will have a better game plan than the people across from us. So if we can execute that, we'll put ourselves in position to win. And then I think the biggest part for us that I think we can improve on, looking from week 3 where we're at to the future is just, it feels like in the Hoover game, in the Helena game, we actually had two touchdown lead, like deep in the third or fourth quarter. Really understanding that we've got them to this point. Now we got to finish them. That people like to say the dagger in the heart. We've got to figure out as a team, when to do that. And I think when we're able to do that, when that time comes, I think this will truly be a championship team.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'll get you out of here on this one. Me and Kyle do that Under the Lights podcast, under the Starnes Media imprint, and this one's just mine. Um, we were on the Under the Lights podcast. I guess it was last week, and I asked Jacob Serena. Do you know Jacob, the wide receiver at Hewitt Trustful?
Yeah, yeah,
So he had talked about in some preseason thing with the Cahaba Sun. He had talked about something interesting about him was how much he likes Legos, and I was like, okay, random, but I'm gonna ask him about it because I like some of that off the wall stuff.
yeah,
Uh, what's something interesting about you off the field? I don't see a Lego collection behind you, but
yeah,
what's something off the field that is a little bit unique about Brock Bradley?
yeah. No, Legos is definitely that's. I feel like I'm a little bit too old for that. But I was a Lego guy back in the day. But
Yeah.
something that I feel like people might not think that I would be into is I'm really into a lot of like alternative rock. stuff, kind of like some
Okay.
weird, like, I wouldn't say weird. I'll name a few bands, and this is kind of goes back to like just my dad, being around my dad, spending all this quality time with him. That I'll tell you what, lately that type of music has really rubbed off on me. So I've been listening to like a lot of Radiohead lately. I
Okay.
don't know. I know you're into a lot of music stuff,
Yeah.
um, and stuff like that. So I've been listening to like a lot of them, like Three Doors Down, Third Eye Blind.
Yes,
A lot
sir.
of people in my age range kind of just like listen to the mainstream stuff, and I like it, but I feel like my groove of music is kind of like that alternative rock 80s 90s.
Yeah.
You can throw some Beatles in there and stuff like that. It's really grown to me, and I've enjoyed kind of like I like looking on Apple Music, like they've got like the history and stuff about
Yeah.
albums. So I kind of like reading about where the band came
Yeah.
from and stuff like that, and how they evolved, and a lot of times they'll split up and stuff and come back together. So actually, a few weeks ago, I went to a Creed concert with a few of my football buddies. It was over there at Oak Mountain Amphitheater, but it was
Yeah.
Creed and Three Doors Down were the
Yep.
opening guys. So I really enjoyed that. That type of music is right up my alley. So just yeah, learning about stuff like that, old type of music. I guess you could say has been a little bit of a, I guess you can say, developing passion for mine lately.
That's Man, that's cool. Fun fact that you probably already know. Scott Stapp. Who's he a
Yeah,
fan of? Who's he a fan of college football?
I don't know. Bama.
Yeah. Yeah. And another fun fact about Scott Stapp. This is so random. The other night I went to, what night was that? It would have been Saturday night. I went and saw the Reagan, that new movie,
Yeah,
and Scott Stapp from Creed is in that movie for like a second. He plays Frank Sinatra, and he's in it for like a
really.
second. Like I'm sitting there
Very
in the
cool.
movie. I don't know. People thought I was weird, but I went by myself and just watched the movie. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, wait, I know who that is holding that microphone. But it took me. So
Yeah,
I texted my brother because we're both Creed fans too. And I texted him. I was like, I think Scott Stapp is in this movie. He was like, he is. Yeah, he plays Frank Sinatra.
yeah.
I was like, you
Had
gotta
to
be
look at
kidding.
the movie cast, see who was in there.
Yeah, yeah. So
What are
what?
what are your favorite Creed songs?
Ooh, oh
If you had
gosh,
to
hang
name
on.
three.
All right, hang on. I'm gonna have to Google this because I mean I've got some typical ones, but okay, it's just gonna spin on me. I mean you can't go wrong with higher. You have to have higher.
No, go with high.
Uh,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
with
that's
arms
fine.
wide open, I'm going so much on these like obvious ones. I'm trying to get it to pull up. It's being it's being kind of a pain with on me right now. Let's see, Creed. I'll just go phone and look. So top three, like I said, I've got to go higher
Yeah,
because
got to.
you've got to.
So good.
Um, so good. Let's see. I said with arms wide open, maybe. Um, I am okay. I need like I need a if I was playing like football in your position, I would need that pregame jam.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw what if in there because that's a banger. Um,
Okay. I haven't
it's
heard that one. I'll have to
it's
give it a listen.
it's on that Human Clay that first
Is it?
album. I guess it's the
Yeah.
first. I don't know if it's the first album, but
Yeah.
uh,
One of the main ones.
it's a jam.
Is it?
Yeah. So
Very
it'll
cool.
yeah. It's a loud one. It is a loud one.
Very cool.
Is that the kind of stuff you're putting in the headphones before the game? Do you listen to music before the game, or what do you do?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely do. I kind of listen to music. The way my school schedule is, I kind of have like all my main classes in the morning. So I kind of knock those out by like, 12:30, 1 o'clock. I eat lunch. And then I've got like a history class that's pretty chill. And then I've got team sports and then like a business class that I can kind of, have my headphones in for. And so I kind of get the music cranking at about 1 or 2 o'clock and then kind of I go through all different phases. I'll throw some mainstream, some rap for sure, and then I really hit the alternative rock kind of early on, and right before I go out there, I'll throw some hardcore stuff in there. So I'll have to give "What If" a listen and see if that will fit into my pregame
Yeah.
routine.
It gets a little repetitive near the end because he's just going to say it over and over and over again. But a good song. I'd need to go back through. Like I don't know. I'm gonna have to listen to a lot of Creed now because it's been a while
Yeah,
since I've just gone through like full albums and just let them play. But
for
yeah,
sure, for sure.
yeah, Three Doors Down. I grew up on Three Doors Down.
Yeah,
My
they're
gosh,
awesome.
grew up on them. Grew up on Lifehouse,
Yep,
Fuel.
and Fuel. Yep,
Obviously, I mean, now you get a little away. Nickelback, certainly. People can
right.
say what they want, but Nickelback is awesome. I don't know why
Yeah,
people think they're
I agree.
not, but they're awesome. I mean, there's some songs we got to skip. There are some songs we got to skip,
For sure, for sure.
but there's a lot that are really
They've
good.
got
And then,
enough good ones.
yeah, they've got enough good ones. They've got that a newer album, San Quentin is the
Okay,
name of the album, but they've got a song on there called "Those Days," and it's just pure nostalgia.
is it?
It's like that album's version of their song "Photograph," but it's as a guy who tries to write a little bit, it's so well done because it's an incredibly detailed song, and I'm a sucker for nostalgia and history, and it fits that. It's really good.
Yeah. No, that's the thing too. That I talked about like looking at the album covers and reading up on that. But dissecting the lyrics is really cool
Yeah.
too. Even if that's the cool thing. A lot of these songs like that I'm talking about, they have a deeper meaning than you think.
Uh,
So just to kind of be able to brainstorm, look at the lyrics, kind of I like playing them out and kind of just reading them as you can do
yeah.
in Apple Music or Spotify. But kind of dissecting those and really just thinking to yourself like what can some of this stuff mean, and a lot of them have really cool meanings behind it, so I've definitely enjoyed that as well.
Yeah. Now you might have to get your dad to help you a little bit with some of it, unless you like old movies and stuff too, because like
Yeah.
it is nostalgic. Like he says, I think one of the very quick early parts that a lot of people don't get because they're not my age or older is he said like, remember trying to hit 88 to go back in time. Do you have any idea what that means?
Nope.
It's kind of putting you on the spot.
Not a
Um,
clue.
oh crap! Now I'm gonna forget the name of the movie it came from. Back to the Future. Do you know
Back to the
Back to?
Future, yeah.
Okay,
That's the one with the cool, is that the one with the cool shoes in there?
yeah, and you know the
Yeah.
DeLorean, the car that's in it.
Yeah, I'm
So
familiar.
when it hits 88 miles an hour, that's when it goes back in time. So that's
Oh,
what he's
cool.
saying, trying to hit 88 to go back in time.
Yeah.
This is so dorky. I've got the DeLorean car up here in my
Yeah, the
office.
car.
So
Awesome.
it's a nostalgia thing for me. So
That's a shoe too. The Air Mags, man. That's a shoe that I've followed like my whole life
yeah.
growing up. I mean, it's unbelievable. I think the shoes are worth 20 or 30,000 or something
Oh my
ridiculous.
gosh.
But it's a cool shoe. They light up and stuff like that. So that collab they did with Nike
Yeah.
was really cool.
Such a good movie. Now I'm gonna have to go. Like, it's weird. I'm talking to someone like probably, oh god, 20. We're gonna say 19. 19 sounds way better than 20. 19 years
Yeah,
younger than me, and I'm talking about Three Doors Down, Creed, and Back to the Future.
I
So
know, right? It's
who'd have
crazy.
thunk it? Who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thought?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you doing this, Brock.
Man, it was awesome.
Yeah, no, it's good to talk to you, get to know you a little bit, and I certainly wish you guys a lot of luck the rest of the way. I think y'all are having it's early, but I think y'all are having a really good year, and looking at this schedule in 6A Region 3, y'all got a lot of road games to kind of finish out. Looks like 4 on the road, 3 at home, but like you said, y'all keep doing what you're doing, you'll end up where you want to go. So good
Yeah,
luck to you guys the
no
rest of the
doubt,
way.
man. I really appreciate it. Very cool getting to know you as well. Last time I think we spoke was in school, maybe like fifth or sixth period. I threw my lunch down and had a text from Coach V, and got over to the computer and had a few words
That
with you. But
was
very
that was
cool
so
to
funny. That was
I
so fun. He
know.
didn't tell me he was going to do that. He just
Yeah.
randomly did it. He's the only one out of all those podcasts that did something like that. So
That's why you got to
that
love
was
guys like
cool.
Coach V. He thinks of stuff like that. But
So
no,
good.
man, really, really cool. I really appreciate you doing
Yeah.
this, and I follow a lot of what you do in the community, and I just think it's really cool. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. No, no problem at all. Happy to do it. Happy to get to know you.
Awesome.
Appreciate you.
Yes,
Good luck the
sir.
rest of the way.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Gary.
All right.